Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Awesome. Today we're going way back, like way back to ancient Israel.
Time travel. Sounds intriguing.
We're cracking open the book of Judges, specifically the story of Samson.
Ah, Samson. The original strongman. Full of, well, contradictions, wouldn't you say?
Totally. And that's what makes it so interesting, right? It's not just some dusty old tale. There are layers here. Lessons about desire, strength, consequences,
Yeah.
things that still resonate today. Big time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the superhuman feats are cool, but it's the human element that really grabs you. That push and pull between what we want and what's considered right, how those two things clash. It's timeless.
Totally. Okay, so for those who need a refresher, Samson's a judge in Israel, chosen by God to basically be their champion, right? Deliver them from the
Definitely.
Philistines, who are their arch enemies. But here's the thing. Samson's immediately drawn to the one thing he's supposed to stay away from.
Philistine woman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he wants her badly. His parents are like, dude, no way. Bad idea. It's setting up a huge conflict from the get-go.
That tension is so relatable, though. Have you ever been drawn to something or someone you knew wasn't the best choice? That forbidden fruit kind of thing?
Ugh. Yeah, definitely. Like that magnetic pull
Uh-huh.
towards the thing you know you shouldn't want, but can't resist.
It's powerful stuff.
So Samson's on his way to meet this woman, and he runs into a bit of an obstacle, a lion.
Not just any lion. This is symbolic, right?
Yeah,
Represents the challenges we all face, those obstacles that seem insurmountable.
but Samson, empowered by the Spirit of the Lord, kills it with his bare hands. Talk about inner strength, right? Like, we all have that potential, especially when we tap into something bigger than ourselves.
It's a powerful image, that ability to overcome incredible odds when we find that inner source of strength.
Totally. But then there's this weird detail. Samson finds honey inside the lion's carcass.
Honey.
Honey. Who expects sweetness in the midst of death and violence?
That's the thing with Samson's story. It's full of these stark contrasts. It foreshadows the complicated nature of his desires, how something good, something sweet can come from a place of conflict and lead to even more trouble.
Right. There's always a cost. Nothing's ever free.
Exactly.
And that cost becomes super apparent at Samson's wedding feast. He turns this whole lion honey thing into a riddle.
It's more than a party game. It's a symbolic challenge. It hinges on that imagery of strength and sweetness, but it also sets up the deception that's about to go down.
Right. Because things take a dark turn when Samson's new wife caves to pressure from her people and tricks him into revealing the riddle's answer.
Yeah.
Talk about betrayal, a total violation of trust.
And Samson, well, he doesn't take it well. He lashes out, fueled by anger, and kills 30 Philistines to settle the debt. It's a very human reaction, but...
Yeah, an eye for an eye rarely ends well.
Exactly. It raises the question, how do we navigate those situations? When someone wrongs us, betrays us, how do we respond in a way that doesn't just fuel more pain? It doesn't stop there, though, does it? That one act of revenge, it's like this downward spiral, this cycle of violence between Samson and the Philistines just keeps escalating.
They're kind of locked in this, like, dangerous dance. Every move fueled by anger and payback. Can't end well, right?
No, it doesn't. And that brings us to, I think, one of the most famous parts of Samson's story, but also the most tragic, Delilah.
Ah, Delilah, the ultimate femme fatale, right? Seduces him, betrays him. Classic tale as old as time.
It's easy to see her as the villain, but I think there's more to it. Delilah's caught in this web of conflict, too.
How so?
Well, the Philistine leaders, they manipulate her, offer her a huge, e.g. bribe to uncover the secret of Samson's strength.
So a victim of circumstance.
To a degree. But she still makes the choice to betray him,
Right.
right? This is where it gets interesting, I think. Delilah, she keeps asking Samson about his strength. And he, blinded by this infatuation, tells her lie after lie.
Plays with fire, basically.
Exactly. He even lets her cut off some of his hair as a joke, testing her.
But he forgets, or ignores, the vow he made to God, the Nazirite vow. His strength is tied to that.
And, well, we all know what happens next.
The hair goes, the strength goes. He's captured, blinded, and forced to work as a grinder in the Philistine prison.
What a fall from grace, right? This almost mythical figure reduced to that.
It's brutal. And all because he couldn't resist Delilah. He played fast and loose with his own strength.
It really highlights the danger of letting desire cloud our judgment. Samson, he consistently ignored the advice of others, chose fleeting pleasure over, a deeper understanding of himself and his purpose.
He had so much potential. All that power wasted because of bad choices. But there's still, like, a glimmer of hope at the end, isn't there?
Yes. even in his darkest hour, that final act of defiance.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Samson, humbled, broken, he acknowledges God, prays for one last burst of strength, and in a truly stunning display of power, he brings down the temple of Dagon, killing himself and thousands of Philistines.
Wow. Talk about going out with a bang.
Hmm.
But it's kind of bittersweet, right? He fulfills his destiny, but at a huge cost.
It is, and it raises the question, what can we learn from all of this? I mean, most of us aren't battling lions or collapsing temples, but there are some serious takeaways here about strength, desire, consequences.
So let's unpack those takeaways. What can we glean from Samson's story right here in the 21st century? Okay, so we've seen the highs and lows of Samson's story. Incredible strength, impulsive desires, and some pretty devastating consequences. What can we take away from all of this? What wisdom can we glean from Samson's epic saga that applies to our own lives? What does this ancient story have to say to us here in the 21st century?
Well, I think one of the biggest takeaways is that true strength isn't just physical, it's about purpose, that connection to something bigger than ourselves. Samson, he got his strength from his commitment to God and his role as a deliverer of Israel.
Right, right.
For us today, that might be our values, our beliefs, our dedication to our families, or even our passions. It's about finding that inner compass, that driving force that helps us stay grounded when things get tough.
Absolutely. And we've all got those moments where things get tough, right? So
Yeah.
find that thing, that purpose. But Samson's story also shows us how dangerous unchecked desire can be.
Yeah, he was definitely driven by passion. But it led him down some pretty dark paths, and I think that's something we can all relate to.
For sure. I mean, it's not like desire is a bad thing in itself, right?
No, not at all. It's what you do with it. Samson let his desires control him. He made impulsive decisions, and in the end, those decisions hurt him and everyone around him.
That's where having good people around you comes in, I guess.
Absolutely. Wise counsel, people who can give you a different perspective, help you see the bigger picture.
Which is something Samson really needed.
Yeah. He totally ignored his parents, who, by the way, were right on the money about the Philistines.
He's like, yeah, Mom and Dad, I got this.
Not the best strategy.
Definitely not.
Mm.
So we've got strength rooted in purpose, desire tempered with wisdom, and the value of good advice. Anything else?
One more thing. Even when we mess up, even when we make huge mistakes, there's always hope.
Redemption.
Exactly. Samson, at his absolute lowest point, he turned back to his faith, made amends, and he fulfilled his destiny.
It's a good reminder. It's never too late to change course, right? Learn from the past and try to, become better versions of ourselves.
Exactly.
And that message
Best.
is just as powerful today as it was back then. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this. Samson's story is about strength, desire, and wisdom. What choices are the BE making in those areas of our lives? Something to think about, right?
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. Until next time.